What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relay reverse rants, no hate. So I watched Dillian Whyte and Christian Hammer fight. I happened to catch it, a video, a replay of it on YouTube. And this fight took place at a little small, tiny building, a little small, tiny crowd. Now I understand that Dillian Whyte has been out of the ring for a little while. It's more than ring rust when you look at, you've been watching a fighter for a long time. You can see the difference when it's ring rust versus, or along with, a person they're just starting to deteriorate. His reflexes, Dillian Whyte's his slow punching, like this guy he punches so slow, so slow. His footwork, he's never had footwork. He's always been, and he's always been a slow guy. Um, he's never been put like this. He's never been really fast. He's had some type of quickness. If he catch you with the short shots, especially like the left hook, he throws the short shots quicker, of course. But if you watch Dillian Whyte, you realize, like, his ring IQ is not so high. He's a guy that likes to fight, that he likes to, get in close and mix it up. If you're flat-footed, he looks better. If you can move, and not just move, but like you can fight and you can move, he's going to have issues with you. Dillian Whyte's not the same. Christian Hammer is a guy that he just comes to survive. Christian Hammer doesn't come to win. He never tries to take over a fight. Honestly, the last time I remember seeing Christian Hammer was against Luis Ortiz. And I've seen, like, watch certain fights of him, and this guy, he has to be in the top 5 of guys that throws the least amount of punches per round. He doesn't let his hands go. He just doesn't punch. He spends the whole fight backing up, shaking his head no when you throw a punch at him, and he's trying to tell you either you missed or you didn't hurt him. He quit in the fight. He quit. And it was a boring, dull fight. And Dillian Whyte, he looked bad. He didn't look sharp at all. And honestly, they just looked like two old men making a comeback against each other. That's what it looked like. There was nothing about this fight that made you want to watch it again. There was nothing about this fight that made me feel like I want to see Dillian Whyte versus anybody. To be honest with you, he's not top level right now. He's not. When he got beat by Fury, it wasn't just, this is Tyson Fury. Like Fury says, he's strong. He'll still beat a lot of other guys. I don't know about a lot of other guys. Dillian Whyte is not the same fighter. He's definitely not. And just the simple fact that he struggled the way he did against Christian Hammer. He doesn't know how to cut off a ring. People say, well, Tyson Fury's 6'9", and he's, long reach and all. Yeah, Christian Hammer was backing himself into the ropes. Dillian Whyte wasn't doing anything to make him go into the ropes. He's just walking in, missing punches. He missed so many punches. Wasn't sharp at all. And Christian Hammer basically doesn't have the legs. No movement, no footwork, stamina terrible, flabby, fat, out of shape, and he's walking back into the ropes. And he's, this is what he does, but he's doing nothing when Dillian Whyte comes in. And Dillian Whyte comes in, he's missing the majority of his shots. Only thing he did was came forward. There was not a lot of action going on. Dillian Whyte, that uppercut is so goddamn slow. Everything he threw was slow. Everything. And what he probably still has is some pop on his punch. But aside from that, nothing. Reflexes look. I mean, he just looks like a shot fighter. And I'm watching him, and it's like he didn't want the fight streamed or anything. He promoted himself in this fight, and I mean, what I saw in that ring wasn't a good look. Now he's calling Christian Hammer, a quitter, and he's saying he'll fight anybody. He wanted to fight them with the best guys. Okay, that's all good. As far as him beating these guys, I think Daniel Dubois knocks out Dillian Whyte. And I think he knocks him out early. I think Efe Ajagba knocks out Dillian Whyte. Frank Sanchez knocks out Dillian Whyte. Anthony Joshua knocks out Dillian Whyte. The way Deontay looked in the fight against Parker, with Wilder and White, put it to you like this. I don't know what Wilder feels in terms of stylistically. What is his approach going to be? Is he going to try to get back to what he was doing normally? Because basically it just comes down between the two of them is which one of them can, who can avoid the most mistakes. And it doesn't have to be an uppercut to knock out Dillian Whyte for what. It's just that's the 3 punch. That's the 3 times he got knocked out. That's what it was. And in terms of Wilder knocking him out with an uppercut, if anything, it'd be the straight right as usual. But yeah, I'm just saying that they're both at a crossroads right now. So I feel like for that fight, after watching that fight, who knows? Maybe Deontay is watching it going, yeah, let's fight him now. I'll knock him out. Who knows? Maybe now he wants to fight him. I don't know. I just don't feel like looking at Dillian Whyte, it was just like, yeah, he's done. His legs are not there. He's just walking around. He doesn't, like I say, he doesn't know how to cut off a ring. So now he didn't have a guy in front of him 6'9" with a super long reach, and he still didn't know how to cut off of a ring. Joseph Parker would beat him. And Joseph Parker should beat him in a rematch. He should. He definitely should. Because even if Dillian, let's say time goes by, he gets back in the swing, it's just not the same Dillian Whyte. It's not the same Dillian Whyte. And when I saw his reaction to like Christian Hammer quitting and he wanted to keep going, I get it. You wanted to get some rounds in it. And if it was going to end early, you wanted to be you knocking the guy out, not him quitting. And I get that. But he chose Christian Hammer as an opponent. If he's been watching Christian Hammer, he knows. And he knows who he is. These guys get along very well, But he quit. So, Buddy McGirt says that Dillian Whyte learned from the fight. And, he was all over the place at first, but he started getting it together. And it's like, man, listen, I hear what Buddy's saying, but at the end of the day, what I saw, Dillian Whyte is not, he's not elite level, man. He's not what he used to be. And even at his very best, if you're going to be honest, man, at his very best, you got to look at Dillian Whyte and think, what exactly? Like who? For all the people talking about him and AJ in a rematch and talking about who a great fight would be, who exactly do you see Dillian Whyte fighting? And this is an exciting fight. That's top level. If you saw that fight, he has a lot of work to do. And personally, I really just don't. I don't look at him and get that feeling like he's gonna be able to get back to whatever like when he was at his best. Those days are just gone with him. And it's not about listen, prove me wrong. Come back and do what you do and prove me wrong. I'm not a stubborn person. I won't say, oh, well, I won't make any excuses. I never do. Dillian Whyte is at that, he has a puncher's chance point in his career. Because in terms of skill, I mean, this Dillian Whyte Jermaine Franklin would have probably knocked him out. This Dillian Whyte, he's not the same. It's not just the ring rust thing, y'all. He's not the same. It's physically, he's just not the same guy. I mean, he looked shabby. His reflexes look like he looked like his reaction time, everything. I mean, if for you to, and he said he's been training the whole time that he was going through this trial and everything, and people talking about he got that on his mind, the cases on his mind, and he's this, he's that. Look, the guy still fought. I get it. So whatever he's dealing with, I mean, come on, you gonna tell me like everything he did looked horrible. His jab looked bad. His power shots, his footwork, his head movement, like everything just looked bad. He looked like I said, it looked like two washed up old journeymen in there. That's what he looked like. Two journeymen in there trying to still make a statement. And neither guy could really push the pace. Listen, it is what it is. Now, if he can get in there and turn things around and all of a sudden he's looking sharper, fine, more power to him. But what I saw in the ring the other night, I wasn't impressed by at all, and I feel like he needs definitely. I can't say 2 or 3 fights and then he'll be no. I really can't say that. I just feel like Dillian Whyte's skills are starting to deteriorate. We saw that against Fury, and people got to understand. People they a lot of you guys love to pump guys' heads up and make them feel like they're more than just human beings, like there's some type of deity or something. Like, Tyson Fury's a human being, man. I mean, the fact that Dillian was so tender, he didn't try to do anything different. He just kept, he didn't know what to do. Nothing. So, I mean, how many people has fought Tyson Fury that's Dillian Whyte type? Shit, Cunningham he's shorter than Dillian Whyte. And look at the job he did. So what I'm saying is when I'm watching this guy and I'm just looking at where he was and where he is now, long way from what he used to be, and I just don't think that you'll get that Dillian Whyte back. And for anybody to say, well, look at what happened with AJ, and AJ bounced back, well, you got to understand something. AJ has no losses to anybody but top level guys. And AJ is back to that AJ that he needs to be. Dillian Whyte, on the other hand, no. It's not just because AJ turned things around, it's automatic for him. AJ's never looked that fucking bad in a damn fight. AJ, I mean, even in getting dropped by Ruiz those multiple times, you got to look at this. Even in that fight, he dropped Ruiz, So he went in there and he got his ass kicked against Ruiz. He came back in the rematch and he kicked Ruiz's ass. But people want to try to criticize the fact, the way he fought, because he dominated and he won. And bottom line is, all of those experiences do make you a better fighter. Now, there's a difference when you just have issues in here. That's okay. I gotta get my head right. Versus when it's physical, because when you can't do something, you just can't do it. And ring rust is not going to make you super slow. It's not. I mean, the way he looked, it just affected everything. It's like everything about him was affected due to ring rust. Nah, I'm not buying that. Whatever play ring rust made, if any at all, I'm telling you, what I saw is a guy who's declining as a fighter. He's deteriorating. This is not the same Dillian Whyte that we've seen before. And it has nothing to do with, he's lost in there, he's fighting himself. No, this is not the AJ situation. He's just not what he used to be. And, I mean, we'll see how things go. What fights he's able to get, who he's in there with. I mean, if looking at him, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he fights a guy like Otto Wallin next. Maybe he fights a guy, I don't know, somebody, a Jarrell Miller type, certain guys that he probably still can beat that, we know of them. They're just not amongst the elite guys. They're respectable fighters, but they're not amongst the elite guys. That's where I'm seeing Dillian Whyte fighting guys like that. As far as him beating a top level guy, Not this Dillian Whyte. So we'll see what type of improvements he's able to make through time. And the way he looked, he might get somebody to call him out, and then he's in a big fight, and then he gets destroyed. Because that's what I believe would happen. Like, I don't see him beating any top level guy. Not this Dillian Whyte. Not this one. So, anyways, Christian Hammer was a weak opponent. This was a stay busy, a get back in the ring, get back, start to get back in the groove of things fight. And it was meant for him to look good in, and he didn't look good. Christian Hammer, like I say, he doesn't let his hands go. He moves, but he doesn't really throw much of anything. And when he does try to throw, 3-4 punches, whatever, it's because maybe he land one and he think he has you hurt, something to that effect. But otherwise, no, he spends the whole fight just moving around, trying to stay out of harm's way. And he's not a good fighter. He's not. He's a survivor. He comes in, he fights the first round the same exact way as the last round. He never tries to just take over and take the fight and dominate. He's just in there. It's like he's just trying to not get knocked out, but he's not really trying to do anything to really win the fight. So with all that being said, well, I think that with that type of fight, you can't really be confident in this guy. You can't. Buddy McGirt admitted he was all over the place. Like, he lost it. He was just like looking like, yeah, he was honest. But at the same time, if Buddy McGirt is going to continue to train him, I don't know what they talk about behind closed doors, and that's none of my business. But, there's no way you can be this man's trainer and not see what I saw. Dillian Whyte's not the same fighter. And I feel like this is the beginning of the end of Dillian Whyte. When you have heart, that could keep you in certain fights. But when you get to the top level, heart alone isn't enough. And, basically I just don't see Dillian Whyte doing any damage to any top guy. And yeah, like I said, because of the way Wilder looked against Parker, like I said, and I've always feel like between the two of them, it comes down to who make the least mistakes. And like, Wilder has showed more patience than Dillian Whyte. And Wilder, just like I say, just catch you slipping and just land that shot. And it's very possible Dillian can get caught that shot and get stretched. Neither one of them look good in their last fights. I mean, Dillian Whyte was the aggressor against Christian Hammer, but Christian Hammer, like I said, man, he's not a good fighter. He's not a good fighter. So, at least for Deontay, he was in there against Joseph Parker, who's a solid fighter. Okay, at least for Deontay, we can say that. And at least for Dillian Whyte, we can say, even though he looked terrible as well, he was the aggressor. That's all you can really say. He was winning that dull, boring ass fight. But that's all you can really say. And really, to be honest with you, I don't think a fight between him and Deontay would happen next if it happened at all. Because I don't think I don't know. Deontay's plans are different right now than Whyte's. They're both trying to get back in contention, but Wilder is someone that the Saudis want to work with. I don't know that they really want to work with Dillian Whyte. And I'm pretty sure after seeing that fight that they're like, nah. I mean, you got to put him, for you to put Dillian Whyte on that card, you have to put him in there against another credible name. And the same with Wilder. And if you look at the options that's out there, I mean, I don't know. Because Deontay want to take a route to get straight back to the title. Whyte knows he has to work his way to that shit. He knows he does. But against who? I don't know. We'll see. Tell me what y'all think about Dillian Whyte and Christian Hammer fight. Wasn't really much to talk about in a good way. Really nothing at all, except for it finally came to an end. And it ended early, so that was about the best news. And I'm just being honest with you guys, man. That was a terrible fight. That was a horrible fight. And if you look at Dillian Whyte the other night versus where he was, you can clearly see, like, nah, he's a different fighter. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.